Hello to my beautiful family of light. Yes, that means you. My name is Claudia, and I'm happy to have you here on my channel. In my last episode, you followed along as I went through and experienced a fourth member of our family's passage. And I was 42 at the time, so it seemed awfully early for me to be doing that. And in fact, it was a 35-year-old member of our family, so a young person who had been really ill. Anyhow, what was interesting to me, and I really struggled with, how do you convey, or how do I convey to you that was an unfamiliar thing for me. Not the death so much. Every death is going to be different. This was somebody who was very close. He and I were very close and shared a lot. But what was interesting was I became very much an observer of my family dealing with death. I didn't get to see them or watch them when my mother was in a coma, and there wouldn't have been much to see. I mean, the hospital staff tended to her, and they did, some of the perfunctory things that could be done. And so this was an unusual experience for me. And as the time concluded and I leave and head back for work, I'm feeling like I don't know where I am. I feel like I'm in a transition, like I'm in between something that I don't understand. Now, why I'm telling you this is because when you're going from an awareness, and mine is only this big, the experiences I've had lead me to know I have a soul. I don't know what that really means at this point. I haven't incorporated spiritual practices very much into, I'm meditating and I'm walking in nature and I'm attending a church that promotes and facilitates things. So I feel like I'm more immersed in spirituality, but I really haven't incorporated much into my life. And until you take spiritual principles and practices home with you and begin living it, so I'm on the edge of something here. I understand some of the mechanisms of the soul, but I feel disconnected at the moment. Now I'm driving back from the West Coast, from Washington State, back to my home in the mountains of Wyoming, and I'm just, I'm appreciating God's creation. I go from, we live on an island, so I go from really blue, wonderful skies, very moderate temperature, and it's spring, and in the spring there's a wonderful daffodil and tulip fields are bright. There's snow on the mountains, big, really blue skies and fluffy clouds, and wonderful walks that you can take. We were pretty busy during that time, but and then I'm crossing the mountains and going into the desert. So we've got, in Washington State, you've got this green, the evergreen state, and then you've got the desert. And as I keep going east, and there are 5 mountain passes between me and where I'm headed, everything it's changing. And when I look back on it, for this, to do this, I'm realizing I'm seeing things in a little different way, but I don't know what it is just yet. And when I get into the middle of Montana, I decide to not complete the route, but to go south and try to go through Yellowstone. I don't even know if it's open yet, but it's okay. You can go around from there. So anyhow, I detour and take this route. And when I get back, I'm still I'm just going to say I'm confused. I'm just not feeling solid, about this going back, or what is just what I'm feeling, what's going on. And I'm just not in touch really with myself at the moment. When I get back, my boyfriend, whom I adored, greets me and is happy to see me, but I have a sense something has changed there. And so we talk on the phone, and the next day I go back to work, back to my job. And it's been about a week. And everything has changed there. It is so apparent that my boss is mad. And he is distancing himself from me. All the work that had been sitting there has been piled up and saved, and I'm expected to get that caught up. He has very little to say. He just goes about his business, and before you know it, he's got an administrative assistant who is now doing some of the stuff I used to do, and I'm doing more meaningless tasks, well, meaningful to him. Anyhow, it's just, you can feel the tension, you can feel the animosity, you can feel the distance. And so I managed to get through the week, and communications are pretty poor. And my boyfriend and I had set up a hike for Saturday morning, and so I go to pick him up, and I climb the stairs up to his place, and he doesn't answer the door. It's 9 o'clock or whatever time it is, 8:39, and I look in the window, and I can see him. It looks like he's sleeping in the chair. So I open the door, see if it's unlocked, and go in, and sitting next to him is a empty bottle of booze. And I'm looking at that. I'm listening to him snoring like a log, which he never did, and wondering what's going on here. So we go, I get him up. He's stumbling around. I don't know what to do because I've never encountered, I'm not even sure what's going on. I know he's drunk and early, and but I'm naive when it comes to things like this. And I get him out the door. I go down the steps first in case he stumbles and needs something to land on. Get him in the car, and all the while I'm thinking, what is going on here? And he's not really talking. And I drive to a different place than we had planned, because that would have been a very dangerous hike with cliffs and steep climbs and stuff. And I couldn't have managed an adult man to carry him or lift him or anything else. And I just take him in this circle around this where we're walking, really. And I get him back to the car and open it up and get him in. I think we've only been gone a half an hour from driving distance, and a 10-minute walk that I knew was not gonna get us anywhere. So I take him back, and he goes up, and I follow behind him, and basically I steer him into the bedroom. He falls on his face, and I throw a blanket on him, and I leave. And later that day, he calls me very apologetic, so sorry, and what could he make it up to me by fixing dinner? And so I go over, and I'm curious more than anything else. I want to know what's going on. And within 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, I was very fast, he becomes verbally abusive. And I'm just sitting there in shock. I've never encountered anything like that ever before. I did have a boyfriend one time grab me by the throat and kind of throw me against the wall. Of course, I never saw him again, but this was not this was not the same. Something was really up with him. Well, this went on for the next 3 weeks, and I made distances that grew. He would do this. It became a pattern. He would call me apologetically. I would show up, and he'd start right in. And the time between when I showed up and he was happy to see me and the verbal abuse beginning just got shorter and shorter. And at the end of the 3rd week, after 5 or 6 attempts at having a relationship, it's not possible with somebody who's not conversing. It's not even possible remotely, whether you're on the phone or in person. And so I walked home. I had walked there that day. I walked home and I just said, I can't do this anymore. And I sat down and I sobbed. When you have a wonderful relationship that is harmonious and so, just companionable. And then this happens. I was crying because I knew something was going on with him that he wouldn't share. This then became, for the next, this disrupted everything for me in my life. That fall, I think I'll save that for the next episode, because this is about, it would take me quite a bit more time to start into the very next thing that goes on. But in keeping with the theme that I knew something was going on, my life is being disrupted. So do you kind of see that that's happening here? With this passage, with me becoming an observer of what is happening, more so than any other time, of what's happening to me, and me, of course, being involved, but I'm not aware of what I'm doing to cause it, or the spirit. But I can't apply spiritual aspects right now, other than to just be curious and kind, and to step back and to say, what am I doing? Am I the cause of this? And so that's where I'm going to leave it. This is the beginning of a whole new episode in my Things Really Change. And so thank you for joining me on this wild adventure that I'm on. It's like a roller coaster ride at the moment. Well, you know that I love you this much, right? These arms go all the way around you. You can feel that hug if you close your eyes and just let the energy waves wash over you. Be good stewards of each other. Be good stewards of this planet. And until what you can do is like and subscribe. Those are the 2 things that don't cost a thing, and they help me out quite a lot, get this information out. Until I see you again on the next video, please comment and know that you are you're wonderful beings of light. You're way more than you think you are. So be safe, be well, be happy, and know that you are a child of our Creator. And until the next time, remember, you're more than you think you are.